Welcome to another episode of the Stillman Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Batisto. Today's guest is Manny Rivera, my former college coach, CSUB, and really excited to share this episode with you guys. It's been pretty cool just being able to do this podcast, and really appreciate everybody that I've been running into at tournaments and that have been sending messages through social media. Appreciate you guys, and hope you guys enjoy the show. What's up, buddy?
What is up?
How you been?
I've been good. You?
I've been busy, but I've been good.
Wrestling season? Busy?
It's wrestling season. Um it feels like even though the
Or what else
season
is
like
keeping you
technically
busy?
you what?
I said, I imagine that's what keeping you busy, or what else is keeping you busy?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's wrestling. I feel like it's not even like technically our season just started, but even like our preseason, we're just like traveling a bunch and then we have like our youth league that we're doing with like the elementaries and middle schools, so we do that in the fall. Um
Yeah.
so it's like as soon as August hits, it's like we're running. But it's been fun, man. It's like I like being busy. I feel like if I'm not busy and if I'm not doing something, normally I'm doing something I probably shouldn't be doing, like,
It's
eating too much
probably
ice
true.
cream and hanging out too much. And
Yeah, that's pretty true.
what about you, man?
Yeah, just work. Work's been keeping me busy, and I don't know, little bit of fun on the weekends, a little travel for work, and then I don't know, now that wrestling season started, watching some wrestling on the weekends. That's about it.
What's what are these work trips? What do they kind of look like? Because one of my buddies just went on a board meeting in Nashville and it was like a convention, but also it seemed like they had a good time too.
Yeah, that's I would say probably about the same. I had a convention out in Vegas like a month ago, and you meet with customers, suppliers, and then have a little fun with them after dinner, drinks, that type of stuff.
I feel like
But
that's a lot of business is like just networking and those relationships and stuff and hanging out.
yeah, I would say you try to get to know people and make things like less transactional. Like really try to get to know people and try to get to like people you work with. But I
That
know.
helps. That helps if you
Yeah,
like the people you work with.
100%. You're not gonna like everyone, and not everyone's gonna like you. But I think if you make the effort and they make the effort to get to know one another, you typically realize everyone's kind of pretty nice, you know. So
Yeah, I realized that the other day we were having like it's like our PLC, so it's like all the teachers, all the history teachers, and it was kind of cool because like I think we kind of see ourselves as kind of like a motley crew to some extent. But yeah, it's fun because like I'm the youngest, so it's kind of cool being around everybody, and they've all kind of been with each other for a long time. A lot of the teachers have been there since the school opened, but just kind of getting to the point where we're all kind of sharing, and it's like I get to experience more life stuff the longer I've been there. So it's
yep,
it's cool being able to share that with them.
that's pretty sweet.
Dude, we can get in the national duels. You were a little bit upset we're doing this a week later,
Well,
but I'm like I said, I'm a busy
I
guy. We
mean,
had our league.
upset's a
You were
strong
fi you
word.
were like, man, the juices were. I could feel it through your text. The juices were flowing last Sunday, but we had our championship duel between two of our teams. So we had I couldn't get after it with the podcast that day, but today's the
Sure.
day.
No, I understand.
Do you want to
Um,
start with the Gophers? What happened with
yeah.
Max, man? What happened with your boy?
I don't think anything happened besides Aiden Sinclair is pretty damn good, and Sinclair actually beat him once this summer too, so it wasn't like this crazy thing.
When did they wrestle at U23s?
U20 trials, and then they wrestled at the somewhere else, maybe U23s or something, but they wrestled like four times this summer.
Are they both U20s?
They were this year. Yep, Max beat him for the spot. So he took they wrestled two out of three. He took a match from Max, and then the two Max beat him were pretty close. One of them he had to like come back to beat him. So I don't know. I think Max went on and had a good like world championship. Obviously he won it.
Yeah.
and it kind of like probably made people forget a little bit how close his matches were with Sinclair. So
Yeah. Well, he's also like he's super athletic and moves really well. And I feel like Sinclair is a little bit more like tactical, I think, in some of his positions, but also like I didn't think Sinclair looked that great in some of the matches I saw him wrestle during his redshirt season, during the college season. But the freestyle scene, I feel like he's just growing. Like he's gotten a lot better at wrestling in the last year.
yeah, he's for sure he's pretty dang good. I think he's a tough style to wrestle. Very good counters. I don't think you see him throw himself under and get to legs a whole lot, but like a Max, I think of him and Max. Max, he countered Max's shot, and then now Max is down, and Max has to attack to get back in the match. That makes it tough. Sinclair's rear attacks look great at national duels. I think it was against Ferrari. He had a couple nice ones too. He wasn't able to finish, I don't think. Ferrari's
Yeah.
defense is pretty good, but he got to Ferrari's legs off of counters that were, I think two of them were really, really nice. He got to his legs twice from there.
I think
So,
one of them, I
oh,
think he had like a single leg in the air, and somehow Ferrari was able to defend it and get his leg back.
exactly. No, yeah, I don't know. It's a tough weight class. What do you say? All those guys are pretty good. Who else is in there? It's
You got Rocco
Ferrari,
Welsh,
Welsh.
Mantanona. I think
Yeah,
is it's interesting seeing him be that big. And this is the younger, this is Brock
yeah,
Mantanona. It's interesting seeing him be at 184 pounds, but
yeah. That's a good weight. Even Ohio State's Fishback. He
yeah.
had a couple tight matches with some of these guys. He was in overtime with Max, and I know who else. Can't think off the top of my head everyone he wrestled, but he was right in there with a lot of guys.
Zach Ryder's in there.
Yep.
Um, he's another guy where I thought like I mean if you just look at the top 10 guys and I have the rankings pulled up right now, like I don't it could be I mean two really good guys are not going to be on the podium, at least.
Yeah.
Like it's a pretty deep way, and I think I was trying to think about the national duels and like what's really cool about having it at this stage is I feel like you get to see a lot of the best guys sooner, and they get to see each other sooner. And I think what's cool as a fan is like you get to kind of see them interact with each other sooner. And I don't know, it kind of carries I feel like into the season more, where it's like I kind of already have context for how this match could potentially go. Obviously guys are going to make corrections and stuff, and I think for some guys like I'm more concerned like they're probably not going to maybe open up as much if they have to wrestle that person again, like just when guys have to wrestle each other again, sometimes especially if it was close, they're not necessarily wanting to give anything up. I think for some of these guys at this weight, they're not like not saying they're not offensive, but they're a little bit more position and focus at like especially Rocco just being in a good stance and creating pressure. Um, I don't know. I hope those guys like continue to want to score points and improve.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like if they wrestle a few times, it probably becomes more tactical the more they wrestle. Um, and open it up less. But then you're also right. Like it creates more excitement now that you kind of establish some of these guys like might have kind of gotten on your radar a little bit more. If they're gonna see each other again in the season, now there's like a little bit more hype going into those matches, right? Like I don't know off the top of my head, but like if Minnesota's got to wrestle Ohio State in a duel,
Yeah.
which I'm pretty sure they do. Well, now I know that Fishback McAnally match is gonna be pretty good. Where I probably wouldn't have thought that if they didn't wrestle at national duels.
Yeah, because I mean, if you just look at returning placers and rankings and stuff, it's like oh yeah, like obviously McAnally's the favorite here, but then it's like, well, I don't know, like Fishback can wrestle.
Yeah.
Um, it takes some getting used to because I see Fishback and I'm like, oh, NC State, but I'm like, nope, he's not at NC State anymore. So I mean,
Yeah.
national duels helps with that too. You know, you have to pay
Yeah.
attention a little bit more.
Correct. You kind of get the first look at where guys have shuffled around. Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm looking up when they wrestle Ohio State. It's they already wrestled. No, is that this year?
No, I think they'll
Can't
probably
remember.
wrestle January, like Big Ten, January, February, Big Ten schedule some point.
Got it. No, I looked at the first. Yeah, the first outing was at National Duels. I looked at the date. Yeah, January 23rd. So man, and then he's gonna have to wrestle. McEnroe's gonna have to wrestle Silas Allred too against
Yep.
Nebraska. That's another tough guy.
Yep. All red stuff. He'll have to wrestle Ferrari. Um, Welsh. No, I don't think they duel Penn State regularly. So that's probably not on but he'll likely see him at like Big Tens. Um, yeah, I mean, that's pretty good weight class. These guys are probably going to wrestle each other a few times.
I think it's interesting just the format of this. I think is cool because I'm first of all I'm glad that like a lot of Big Ten schools did it. I mean, I wonder if Penn State would have made it better, or if you think like just being able to get some of these other teams just like more opportunities to compete against each other. You add a dominant team in the mix like Penn State. I'm not sure if it throws it off, but I don't know. It was fun. Like just this concept, I think is really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's great. It was well attended. Penn State, like you said, yeah, pros and cons. Like if they're there, then it kind of makes it feel like everyone's there. But if they're there, it kind of everyone knows how good they are, so it kind of makes it seem like, well, it, they're probably gonna run away with it. It's not as exciting to figure out who's gonna win the whole thing. Maybe, right? Um, I don't know. And then I also think like I don't know, people forget, but the national duels used to be pretty good like 20, 25 years ago. That's a long time now, but um they've kind of come and gone a few times, different looks at them, and um it's good to see them back. I remember when we wrestled, Jay was a huge proponent of national duels, and he always loved it. We used to go down, you and I used to host, used to get almost all the best teams there. And little by little, like it just kind of started falling off. Some teams stopped showing up. Some teams wouldn't show up if they didn't have a good team that year. And then it kind of just started falling apart. And then, now it's back. It was pretty good first year. Prize money's sweet. I gotta imagine all these teams that got money got to be pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
So and probably that's what it takes this day and age. Before there's no prize money. You're just trying to get good matches, good competition. So um, no, it's good first year. We'll see how they keep evolving it. I can't imagine it's going to be the same. I imagine they can make it better and probably want to.
Yeah, I wonder if the location maybe can influence things a little bit more. I know I want to say Paycom, the financial backer. Oh, I'm gonna get. I feel like they're in Oklahoma State. I feel like or in Oklahoma, like that region. I'm not sure if they're national or not, but I know when people went to Tulsa for the Nationals, there was a lot of complaints. Like it's just not a good place to go and have a national tournament. No knock on the city, but just in terms of like where places people can stay and like getting there. Like you have to fly into Oklahoma City, right, and then drive.
Drive. Yeah. Yeah. I slightly considered trying to go, but
Yeah.
Tulsa is just far enough from Minneapolis where I'm like, that's just a little too much. Like, if it was a little bit closer, I'd probably make that event in person, but I don't know. It's like not all wrestling can be can revolve around you. So it is what it is. It's in Tulsa, you know. Oh shoot, sorry there. If it gets any closer or I don't know. I don't think they would move it, but um I think it's just kind of it is what it is thing for where it's at. I think about for myself, it's like, I don't know if I'll ever make it while it's in Tulsa, but you never know.
I actually
Like what
thought like this is gonna be cheaper than the national tournament. I might go to this one and not go to the nationals.
well, that is true. That is true when you compare it to that, for sure. Like, would you fly out from California to go to Tulsa to watch
Yeah,
this?
it's kind of like you. I legit thought about it. I thought it was gonna, like cost just looking at pure costs. I mean, I'm still a young man. Like I'm trying to save money. I'm not trying to spend on everything that I want to do. But I still think it would be a cool trip. and it's right before my high school season. Really, I mean, we're still
Yeah.
busy and we still have stuff going on, but like you know, yeah, I'll miss the youth league final to go to Tulsa,
Yeah.
if I can foot the bill. But um, I think it would be cool. I know there's like people have talked about doing the national tournament in different places, like go to Miami for one, or go to Las Vegas, or go to LA. Like this would be cool to kind of try some of these other locations and see what could potentially draw people. Um, like if we do one in Vegas, like I feel like a bunch of people are like, this is a reason to go to Vegas. Like we'll hang out, like we'll watch some wrestling, um, you know. But it seemed like there weren't a whole lot of people in the stands. I feel like there was a lot of Oklahoma State people, but um, not a whole lot of like. There were some duels where just I'm looking in the back and it's like it's not full.
Yeah, a heavy Oklahoma attendance. I agree. I saw if Oklahoma was at that session or on the mat, the stands looked pretty full. It looked like there was a good crowd, but when they weren't wrestling, it looked pretty thin in the background. So it was just like, okay, I don't know. I don't know. Did you see any numbers as far as attendance? I guess I can't remember seeing anything if they thought it was a good attendance or not. But
I didn't see
um,
the attendance, but the TV viewing was or the viewership was really high.
okay. I think I might have saw that actually, but not actual attendance. The viewership was they compared it to I think I saw something comparing it to last year's viewership, and it was like probably would have been like the fourth most watched event, maybe something like that. That sound right?
Yeah, and considering I think it was kind of partially on Flow, some of it was on YouTube, and then ESPN two. Um, I mean, I don't know. I think there was a couple things. I think issues with the stream. I think were happening a little bit, and then I think no knock on. I think it was volleyball. I think volleyball was playing before one of the duels, and people were upset. But I can try to remember. I think Stanford was playing somebody, but. I was like
Yeah,
paying attention to the group chat and people were like, what the heck? I'm gonna watch some wrestling.
yeah. I forgot about that, but yeah, that was ESPN two, right? And then they had college volleyball right before they flipped over. Um, and it was probably like 15 minutes delayed or something, maybe. But yeah, and those viewership numbers were for ESPN too, not like anything on Flow, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, the stream is kind of what it is, it's kind of what you expect. Big wrestling events on these streams seem to kind of lag and sometimes they glitch, but I don't know what you can do about that.
No, I mean it's gonna happen. It's not.
Um
I think we live in this day and age where we expect our internet to be perfect and things just to work right away.
yeah. No, I thought it was good. I mean, overall, I mean, you could probably nitpick some things and they probably can fix them pretty quick, but it seemed like the mats were an issue. They were kept drying mats. They were getting slippery. Um, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure they can get other mats there next year if they want to. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well, I think it's the whatever the material that they put on for the logo that's a little bit slippery.
yeah. Other than that, I don't know. It's pretty good. I thought like they had good refs. The reffing seemed to be okay. Um, you know, table workers seemed to be okay. Like as it functioned, it looked pretty good. Operationally, it was kind of what a pretty um first-rate event, right? It wasn't like they
Yeah.
had these refs, high school refs there, or high school kids running the scorers table making mistakes. It was a pretty good event.
Yeah, I think in terms of the reffing, I thought it was pretty consistent. I'm trying to remember what I think it was Oklahoma State and Iowa, and it might have been Lockett and Caliendo. I'm trying to remember what match it was, but there was a call that was made for a takedown, and I think they waved it off, and then Oklahoma State challenged it, and then they like reviewed their own call and then overturned it again.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I like the review concept. I wasn't super clear on how many times teams got to review throughout the whole competition. Was it unlimited throws? Was it like two per duel or one per duel or?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not unlimited. It might have been one or two per duel, and that's if you didn't win them. If you win them, you always get it back. So if you
Normally
win the
it's one,
challenge,
right?
yeah, if you win the challenge, it is unlimited. I guess you can keep going, but if you lose it, I forget if it's one or two. But
When you were coaching, did you keep track of how many challenges you won?
yeah, not overall, but like during whatever event it was, because you wanted to know how many you had, right? So if you had a challenge, you wanted to be able to use it, or if you ran out, you kind of wanted to know. But even if you run out, you still throw it out there in case no one catches you, right?
I think Zeke Jones did that at when ASU. It was I think it was maybe my sophomore year,
Yeah,
and
everyone does that.
I think it was like we had like we were pretty good. We were pretty good that we had like Bryce Hammond, we had Adam Fierro, we had Ruben Franklin, and then somebody else was in the finals. But like uh, two of them, I think were against ASU, and like there was kind of a silly. Brick that was thrown, and it was like, I think Mendoza asked him, "Was like, how many times have you guys been challenging?" He's like, "Well, this is our last one." It's like no one was keeping track of it.
No, classic wrestling. Yeah, of course no one keeps track. It's just like it's just free for all.
Yeah, but I mean, that's pretty funny that you said it though, because it's like just in case no one's keeping track of it. Because I mean, what are they gonna do? They can't. What's the rule against somebody trying to
Not
challenge?
nothing. Like if you I don't think there's like a repercussion. If you challenge without a challenge and you weren't supposed to, and they just don't catch it and they figure it out after the fact, yeah, what do they do?
They go back there and they're like, well, I mean, what if the challengers was right though?
Exactly.
You know, like, well, you got the call right. You still got the call right.
Yeah, I don't know what they can do. Like bench warning? I don't know. No clue.
Make make them wrestle again.
Bench warning? I don't know if it's like a team point. I have no idea.
But the competition's over. If
Unsportsmanlike?
the competition's
Yeah.
over,
Yeah, exactly.
they do one of these. They
Yeah,
do
who
they do one of
knows?
those.
Probably.
I did this
But
yesterday. We had a kid. It's early, and some of our kids are still out of shape. But we're getting towards the end of the tournament, and there's like the action kind of comes out of bounds, like towards our bench, and one of our kids is like, "I'm about to throw up," and I look at like, do you know Sean Sheets?
yeah, yeah.
So Sean's right next to me, and I'm like, "Hey, go like ask about the near fall if we didn't get any near fall like a sequence ago." And he goes like, "But there wasn't." And I'm like, "Just go ask." And he's like, "But there wasn't." I'm like, "All right, I'll go ask." So I talked to all the refs, so like I'm kind of like friendly with them, but I'm like, "Hey, just," and I was like looking super confused. I'm like, "Hey, we didn't get any near fall like earlier. Like I thought we got." So I was like trying to carry it on just to give our guy a little bit of a breather, but. I don't do that too often because it's like you need to get your butt in shape, but it's like if we're in the moment, like all right, like
Uh,
I'll see what I can see what I can help.
yeah, strategy, right?
Yeah, I'll take it. I think that's what sometimes the challenge brick though becomes. It's like a timeout brick.
Yeah. I mean, if you have it, it's within the rules.
But
It's
even if you don't
say,
have it, you still throw that sucker out there.
yeah, true. True. No matter what, right? I guess it is you're trying to help your guy out, fighting for your guy. No, it's
Yeah. Have you ever
it's
done
true.
something like that?
Probably. I can't think of anything specific, but sure I have. But no. Let's us just start with a question for you. Um Biggest surprise from you team wise from national duels, one in a good way or one probably didn't wrestle to your expectations, who you thought would be pretty good. What are your two takeaways there?
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State, I didn't expect to win it. I thought they were pretty solid, but I think if you look at their lineup, I think there's a lot of questions. I think Bazakis at 25 is like he lost his wrestle off, but so like we didn't even really know if for sure he was going to be the starter or not. But I think it looks like he's going to do pretty well at 25s. I mean, yeah, he got pinned by Peterson, and that sucks, um, but I think he looks pretty tough. And then Ben DeVino is just a monster. I think
He's good.
I didn't really understand that was going to be a thing either. I saw wasn't Michigan State Open? What was their first competition?
Clarion, I think.
Okay. Like I mean he wrestled pretty well there, but it's like that match against Ayala, I think he wrestled pretty tough and I think it kind of opened people's eyes a little bit more. And then, obviously some other weights that I thought they wrestled pretty well. Or at least, maybe the guy that they wrestled or competed against maybe didn't have a great performance, but it surprised me and then I honestly thought Nebraska was going to perform a little bit better. I think they had maybe some tough matches, but they've always been a very consistently good dual team. So I figured this format, especially and in tournament rankings, I think they're still ranked second. So that would have been a great opportunity for them, and it was. I think ultimately this is like, what is this about? It's just to get information to see where your team's at and be something that you can build on. What about you?
Same. Ohio State probably didn't come in with a lot of people talking about them or very much hype. You always figure they're going to be good. They've been pretty consistently good, for quite a while now. But I mean, not only were they good, but like they wrestled a great style, great tournament, very aggressive, scored a lot of points. So a lot of their guys were opening up, letting it rip, and it was they're a fun team to watch. They really were. Um, yeah, I was kind of surprised on all that. Not that I expect them not to do well, just didn't see them. Kind of took it to everyone really at the end of the day. Kind of ran through the bracket. So, um, 33 knew he was pretty good, but didn't think or didn't know that he could do that to some of the top guys. 25 was a question mark. He said 41. Mendez, you kind of know what he is, and he's just looking phenomenal.
You look pretty
Uh,
good. You look
yeah.
pretty good.
He just looks he's like a pro out there, right? Just almost like it's just he expects to win like that and makes it look like just it's supposed to happen. Yeah, up and down the lineup, they were just pretty dang good. So kind of set the tone for the year. And then same thing, Nebraska, coming off a great NCAA tournament, kind of have a lot of momentum as a program. You thought they would be a little bit better. And it's early, not like you can count them out, but for sure, they were one I thought they'd compete a little bit better out there.
Yeah, they got blown out of the water by Okie State. But at the same time, like I mean, I think they gave up a forfeit. I think at 65s, and they also have some guys that I think are still I don't want to say unproven, but I think wrestling against the unknown. Like you got guys like Ronnie Ramirez and Sergio Vega from Oklahoma State that are just dogs. Like I mean, those guys all wrestling with each other. It's pretty cool to see. And again, it's like you kind of don't really know what to expect or what to prepare for. So when you're going up against that two freshman that doesn't really know any better, like yeah, I was good in high school. I'm good now. And being able to go out and scrap, I think maybe caught them off guard to some degree.
Yeah, what'd you think of Oklahoma State's performance?
I like Sergio Vega a lot. Carlo has been talking a lot about him. Franciati's been talking a lot about him. He's been pretty high on him watching his Doc B finals last year. I think what they do in terms of making a very competitive room, in terms of depth, I think they have a lot of depth at a lot of different weights, different guys that they can go, throw out there, especially at 33 and 84 too. Braden Thompson, was a highly recruited guy, and he's not even starting right now. So they got a lot of depth. I think what they're able to do and get guys to buy into a team culture. It seems like they're having fun, and I think what's interesting is I think David Taylor and company is kind of taking a Penn State kind of model. But one thing I think they're doing a little bit differently is I think obviously they're not having the same caliber of results yet that Penn State has had, but they're opening things a little bit more for people to see. Like from a media standpoint, they're making like these little reels and like have a social media presence where I think they're a little bit more accessible to other people. And I think that helps a lot with recruiting. Um, but again, I feel like there's just not enough data points yet where I think they're going to be able to surpass Penn State anytime soon. My feeling.
Yeah, that's a good point because that's kind of been the little bit of the difference. You assume, and it kind of looks like he's just trying to model a lot of what they did at Penn State here, but it does seem like the doors are open a little bit more for us outsiders to see what they're doing and kind of um and maybe not like on a technical standpoint or what they're doing for training, but at least like you're getting to see a little bit of their guys, their personalities are being shown on all these little reels and not quite what you see at Penn State for sure. So um yeah, it'd be interesting. I think they got a lot of momentum. They have a lot of good young guys and they gotta capitalize while they can right now. I feel like if they kind of go down 3, 4 years and they're not quite challenging, they might lose some of that momentum. But right now it's looking like they're on track for sure.
Yeah, I think I saw something on Twitter after last year's national tournament when they got a team trophy. It's like they were going crazy and stuff, and somebody's like, "Dude, you're gonna freaking throw a parade for, you guys didn't even win a national title. Like, you're gonna throw a dang parade? Like, calm down." But it seems like
For,
even though they didn't, it felt like they did.
for sure, they have a lot of momentum. They have a lot of excitement behind them. And the reality is, what did they finish third or fourth last year?
I think they finished third, right? It was Penn State, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, and then maybe
Maybe
Iowa.
Iowa. Yeah, I forget it was third or fourth, but I mean the reality is like that's something John Smith had done there
A
time
lot.
over time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, there's excitement, there's momentum, but if you just look at numbers, they were probably still a long ways away from Penn State, and that's probably didn't do anything that hadn't been done there recently either. So um at least somewhat recently. So no, they just got to capitalize. All that helps, and you can see the momentum. You can feel it. Their true freshmen wrestled incredible, so that kind of makes it fun for them and their fans to kind of get excited. So they have some good recruits coming in. Yeah, it looks like they can seriously challenge here if they keep this up.
Yeah, it's can they continue to develop? I think when you're younger, I think it's if you can kind of find a way to kind of develop them and keep their confidence up, I think that's kind of the difference maker. But it's like, can you consistently develop over a 4 or 5 year time span while continuing to get recruits in to kind of supplement your lineup? I mean, they got guys right now like the transfer portal guys like Swiderski. He looked, I think, pretty good against Lachlan McNeil at the All Star Classic, but kind of just been flat. I know he wrestled what's his face from Stanford at 49s, and the one I'm blanking, Aiden Valencia,
Valencia,
um,
yeah.
where he kind of got beat up a little bit. And I feel like traditionally his style is he's more the opposite, like he's in your face, he wrestles really hard. But yeah, I mean they still got holes in their game, and I think somebody that I'm really impressed with is yeah, Ladarian Lockett. I mean he's been pretty solid, and I think he still needs to find ways to score against some good guys, but kind of like if I can't score, like you're not going to score either. And I kind of stole that from I saw Adam Tierpelli tweet that. And I'm like, dude, he kind of makes a good point. Like, it just is very tough to score on. He's athletic and moves really well and can scramble.
Yeah, he's a tough match. I think the concern with where he's at, maybe not probably scoring as much as he may be able to, is that he might let some guy he's probably better than hang in there a little bit, and
Yeah,
he might get like a match stolen from him at some point. But he's also able to do that to the best guys already as a true freshman. So, he's pretty good. It's just I think that's the concern when you see a young guy like that's like, if he wrestles like that against a guy he's better than, he might let him hang in the match too long, and you never know. The guy can sneak a takedown at the end and take a match from him. But um, I don't know. That's a part of being young. You probably develop that as he goes along. But you see him competing against like Caliendo and these other guys, and he's already there. So
yeah.
you know, it is going to be a tough match for anyone to wrestle Lockett.
But you make a good point. Like if it's a close one, and we're at the national tournament, it's the second round. It's like, yeah, like he could drop a match. Like he's not somebody. If I have a fantasy league, I'm picking right now.
Yeah, no,
because they have to.
that's the concern, right? And but on the bright side, it's like, yeah, but he's also, you know, keeping these, studs. Callahan's freaking good, and he's keeping them at bay with his style. He's so hard to score on, so moves so well, and he can kind of what did he score a duck under, or how did he? I forget. I remember he kind of just he's pretty.
Yeah, it was a duck, I think, on the edge of the mat, right?
Yeah, yeah, but he kind of gets you to chase him, and then next thing you know, you like walk into something. So, um, yeah, that's a tough style to wrestle.
That's such like the Iowa Oklahoma State kind of clash is like the Iowa's pushing and the Oklahoma State's like pulling, you know.
Yeah,
It's just finding
yeah,
finding ways to score. You gotta be careful. Um, I do think Spratley I think ended up dropping one. I forgot to who. Maybe that on paper he wasn't supposed to, but I feel like 25s and like some of these other weights I think are still very much up in the air in terms of like who can really kind of stake their claim and be the
yeah.
champ.
25 was crazy, and I think it's gonna be like that all year. I mean, these guys are all kind of right there. Um, the results I can think of is Volk, Jory Volk beat Ventresca
Yeah,
twice. Ventresca beats uh Vince Robinson, national final or
yeah.
national champ. Robinson beats Spratley in a rematch of the national finals in a tight match. I think what else? Like there was just a lot of guys who all just beat each other at the end of the day, and it
Yeah.
was like all super close matches too. They all could have gone the other way, but they just kind of were what they were.
My dark horse is always Jet Strickenberger. That's like he's my guy. I love that guy.
He's good. Yeah. He is sweet. He's fun to watch. He kind of opens up, puts points on the board, a lot of action.
Yeah, he's got I don't know. I think it's like it's fun. It makes it fun from a fan perspective where it's like yeah, it's like you're ranked, two right now, but like you could also lose. You could also lose in the second round because you're gonna have somebody
Yeah,
tough that can compete
exactly.
hard.
Yeah.
One team that I thought was really tough, and it's interesting when I think about their national tournament. Like Illinois is a top 10 team last year at the national tournament, but it feels like they underperformed at the national tournament. Like I think they had two or three guys that were in the round of 12 that didn't place. And if they do place, they're I think maybe fifth or sixth at the national tournament. And I think they showed again the dual result. I think didn't reflect how good of a team that they are, but I thought that they competed really well.
Yeah, they're good. They're very solid. They obviously got Bird, who's a stud, and then they got I like that Webster.
Yeah, yeah, I like
Um, he,
Webster
he
too.
he wrestles hard. He tries to score as much as he can. He's fun to watch. I like him on their team too. And they got a few other guys that are scrappy too, and they're kind of I would say a lot of guys that, like you said, they were around the 12 guys, kind of borderline, but if they wrestle well, they'll place a handful of guys at the NCAA tournament. They're a good team. They're doing a good job for sure.
What
That's a
when
good
you
question. So I got a
go ahead.
question of teams like we talked a little bit about Strickenberger, of teams who probably would they place top eight, right? It was top eight of the teams that didn't place. Any individuals on those teams that kind of stood out, that had good performances or good wins?
Like at the national duels, or are you just saying?
Yep, exactly. National duels from last weekend.
Well, here's how I feel about this whole format. I wish they could have done like a true third, because I think if you lost like in the first round, like you didn't get a chance to come all the way back. Um, I think Low Rock didn't place. Um, Trying to think of any specific individuals I thought like wrestled really well, but like I think they're a good team. Like still, I think who's the I always forget the brothers. There's like
Oh,
four.
Bianchi.
Yeah, Bianchi. I think it's Maddie. I think he's a sophomore now. I mean, like he's a guy that I think it sucks that they lost Jordan Williams and Nasir Bailey this last year, but I still think they're pretty solid. And I think with what they're building right now, I think it's something Neil Arisman, I think they do a really good job recruiting. And I think there's almost like this. I think when you're starting something new like that, I think it's interesting to see. I think the amount of cultural buy-in that I think is happening right now. where it's funny like CCB was doing them and I was on the call and I was just it's cool because you're like right there next to the bench, dude. They're like very aggressive sometimes with like some of the things that they're saying, like he's running off just like stuff like that, like kind of the wrestling jargon, but it was cool hearing that because for me that's like they're creating like this little tribe, and when you don't really have any history, you don't have wrestling history like that, to the fact that they're all kind of coming together and they're kind of creating this little group. That's what's fun, I think, from a fan perspective, is to see them just compete hard and be passionate about it. So, yeah, they didn't, place top eight as a team, but I think for them to be able to compete on a national level and be able to kind of showcase, who they are, I think that's, a pretty cool moment for their program.
Yeah, that's a good one. Arizona State probably had a couple good guys. They probably don't have the lineups they had a few years ago, but seems like Larkins,
Yeah,
Larkin brothers are
he's good.
can be the real deal. Who else they got in there? Ruiz is gonna be pretty good. He had a good year last year, I know, and looks like he's on track this year. I'm forgetting someone else that they.
Zuba, the transfer from Ryder.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
So,
tough.
um, well, he
Pearson
had a
Manville
big.
too is somebody
Oh,
else.
yeah, he had a good win, I think. I'm pretty sure I watched him. Yeah, he's gonna be good.
Yeah, he beat
Um,
he wrestled Carter Bailey, I think, against Lehigh. And Carter's solid. He's,
yeah.
developing, but
Um, oh, who was I thinking? Lehigh. That's who I was talking about. You just mentioned Carter. Lehigh has some guys too. They weren't at full strength. I know a lot of their guys were out, but they have some guys. They're always
yeah.
good, and they always have guys that can wrestle. So I think their big win was over Antrell Taylor. Um, I don't want to butcher the kid's name, but like Rzinski or something like that.
It was something like that. I'll try to
Uh, but obviously beating the returning national champ, pretty big deal. And it, he won a couple exchanges and, just put the match out of the way. It was a great performance. And then even got his own takedown. So it wasn't one of those things where like, yeah, maybe you win one exchange out of the whole match, kind of say it's fluky, but then he still kept scoring. So it wasn't all that like a fluky of a win for him. Like he kind of won that match.
Yeah, I think yeah, Lehigh, I think again, they were another team where I was looking at some of the first round matchups, and I think if they were at full strength, I think probably would have put a little bit more competitive duel against Nebraska, obviously. But looking at some of these, like I think you and I too, like that's another team where I think they've had a history of just having, kind of very under the radar, maybe not like the biggest name recruits, but like coach their guys really hard and they wrestle a very physical, very tough style. But again, it's like another one of those little like tribalism kind of teams where they just compete hard and they compete for each other. I think I'm a big Doug Schwab guy. I like the way that he coaches, and I hear him talk and see this the way that I feel like their team responded when old Jim, like their wrestling room, kind of was caving in and stuff, and they just had to basically just figure it out. But I think when you go through like that stuff with like people, like as a team and as a program, and you're able to get through it, I think it just kind of creates a really big chip on your shoulder, and that chip can kind of go a long way, especially in a sport like wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. They're kind of like it's not just like they say it, but you can see it. They're like a no excuses type of team. It's like it doesn't matter who you're wrestling, doesn't matter what your rank, doesn't matter what your high school. They have guys that I honestly like, and I don't follow a lot of high school wrestling, so maybe take it with a grain of salt. But they'll have guys I'd never heard of that are in their lineup, and all of a sudden they're just like ranked in the top 10, knocking off these kind of other kids I've heard of, nationally ranked coming out of high school, and it's just like development, no excuses. They seem to do all the right things. They are a fun team to watch and cheer for.
They underperformed, I think, big time at the national tournament, which kind of sucked because I liked some of those guys like Ryder Downey and a few of those other guys over there. But um, no, I'm a fan. I mean, I don't know. I think anything that I can kind of pull from and use as a coach, like I enjoy, and it's hard not to like the team because of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another team too is Wyoming. I thought they are, I think, are kind of a salty lineup. I think they just, I mean, they wrestled. Can't remember who they wrestled first, and then they wrestled Ohio State, and then it was like they had a tough time on the other side. But was it Ohio? I think they might have actually wrestled Ohio State. Was that first?
Yeah, I think that was the first round because then Ohio State wrestled Minnesota second round.
Got it. Got it. But I mean, they got some like I think Christian Carroll I think was competitive against Feldman. I think it's just going to take some time making an adjustment to that weight class, and I think you can say the same thing about AJ Ferrari. It's like making an adjustment to heavyweight. I don't think I don't mean to go back to Ohio State, but I don't think I realized how strong Feldman is in terms of like just being able to be in good position and just clearing ties and just getting guys to move and just getting their hands out. Like I mean, how are you going to take him down? You know,
Yeah, yeah,
you can't grab him. Like you're not going to snipe one from a distance. I mean, how are you going to how are you going to take him down?
that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's good. He's going to be tough to wrestle. Ferrari obviously had his struggles kind of getting to him, and even like when he did, it was like he got fought off the legs a little bit, and yeah, I'm trying to think of the whole heavyweight class. Was he the best guy at the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, he's I don't think he lost to anybody.
I don't think so either.
Um, But I say that, but then you know who wasn't there that maybe could have been, and I think that's interesting. Just when you talk about how you select those teams, who's going to be there is Iowa State wasn't there. Younger Bastide is pretty good, um,
Yeah,
and I think he's somebody that's obviously was a 97 pounder and bumped up to 285. He's been dealing with some injuries, but I feel like he's been up at the weight long enough to where I feel like he's adjusted to it, and he's not afraid to be aggressive and go on attack.
yeah, and he seems to be a pretty crafty wrestler where he's gonna probably attack in the most efficient way. He's not gonna just blindly attack and tire himself out
You
or
say
or give up a
crafty like
score.
he doesn't have a good gas tank. You saying he gets tired?
No, I just think he's smart. He's efficient. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I
He's
don't think he's
energy
really gonna
efficient.
get. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get tired at heavyweight. You know.
Do you feel like that's more of like a placebo kind of effect, sort of, where it's like I'm at heavyweight, I have to start wrestling like a heavyweight, and then I get tired like a heavyweight?
I think it's a little bit of a trial and error. You just kind of figure out. Even though I wrestled guys that size, you kind of got to, you probably don't know until you start working through it. And then you realize like what attacks work, what attacks don't. Um, what
Conserving your
attacks are
energy too.
what attacks are worth taking, what positions you can be efficient in and not. Is it worth, I'm not for him specifically, but is it worth going underneath? Is it worth trying to ride and mat return? You got to probably do that all trial and error. I mean, good thing for him is he's pretty dang good. He's pretty big, strong, athletic guy. So he has a shot to be pretty good in most of those. But at the end of the day, he's probably just trying to do what is tactically and most efficient for him.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else that you felt like you kind of saw from national duels that kind of stood out, either performances or?
Um, I think the big thing is just some of these young guys coming in and beating old guys is kind of a common thing, or established guys. I shouldn't say old, but like you start to think like well, Oklahoma State has a few guys, but even like Larkin, Arizona State has a young guy there. Davino. Um, they seem like they're real threats to guys who are established. Vega, Rabadu, um,
Yeah.
Ronnie, and I think that was kind of a theme out of the whole thing. It's like these young guys emerged, and some of them did pick off some guys, but even the ones that didn't wrestle, you're kind of like looking across, like, man, they might be right there. You
I
know,
think Yeah, I mean that's a good point. You have to make that evaluation. I think as a coach moving forward, it's like yeah, you can pick up guys in the transfer portal, but like you also want to start looking for who can compete right away if you can get one on your team. I mean, that's a big difference maker.
Yeah. One is can Vega go with Mendez? Right? They didn't wrestle, but it's like seemed like he can just based on results. The way he beat Brock Hardy, and Brock Hardy's been pretty close with Mendez. It's like you would think so.
You're
I
doing
don't know.
wrestling math right now.
Yeah, maybe
Wrestling
not,
math
right?
doesn't always add up.
Maybe not, but you want to see it,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
right?
Um,
Davino didn't wrestle Bird, but it's like he looks like he's right there.
yeah. Blaze is another guy at that weight class that's like,
Well, yeah, we're not even
where's
mixing in
Blaze
Penn
gonna
State
factor
guys
in all this
on
too?
yeah, we're not even mixing those guys in, but that's a whole nother uh, you know, another group of guys that all factor into all these conversations for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of young guys, and I think it at least showcased a lot of these young, true freshmen, if not redshirt freshmen, are ready to go and ready to challenge some of the best guys. And you really just start thinking about it like, man, can he? Will he? Will he beat him? Can he beat him?
Yeah, I don't think does Illinois duel Penn State this year?
I'm not sure. It's a good question.
They might not. I was listening to this story from um Peyton Manning, who was talking about how like all the championship teams that he's been on, why he's very much against hazing like the rookies is because like you want to make sure like they feel welcome and like a part of the team and are supported. Because if you look at any championship team, like normally the rookies come through in a big way at some point. Like they come up with a big play, they contribute, you know, do something, and I think that's kind of why it's like you look at some of the I think the team cultures I think that do really well in creating freshmen is I think um, in a lot of instances either it's something to where they're very welcoming and they're very like positive and encouraging because I think anytime you make those adjustments and you jump levels, whether it's from middle school to high school to college, there's always like a learning curve. And I think being able to maintain your confidence, especially if you were a good high school wrestler, while also making those adjustments like, you know, finishing, hand fighting, wrestling on bottom. If you're able to do that and like able to keep your confidence and adjust your skill set to that, I think you're ready to go. And I think just because I think right now we see more high school guys wrestling in opens, like collegiate opens and stuff like that. I think that's really good for their experience. But man, like what a difference maker it is to get one of those guys on your team able to contribute right away.
Yeah, it has. I forget who I was talking to, but it's almost like if this continues, which I don't see it really slowing down, where these kids are getting so good in high school and younger, and it's almost like the guy who's going to challenge Sergio Vega isn't already in college. He's probably a freshman in high school right now. It's going to be his next best challenge, right? Isn't
You're
that
probably
crazy to
right.
think?
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
So it's almost like if this trend continues, it's like, well, it, he probably isn't maybe even worried about the guys that are a couple years ahead of him. It's like some kid's going to pop out of high school in 2 years that might be his best competitor or opponent.
Yeah, I
And when
didn't
you
even
think
think
about
about
it that way,
that.
you're just like, it blows your mind. It's like, holy smokes.
But you know, like football, like some of these colleges, and I mean, it's illegal to do, I think, but they're already like, I don't, it's illegal to reach out to them, but like, I know for football, like they already have, like they're already looking at like seventh and eighth graders. I saw this video and I think it was kind of silly. It made me think of the bench warmers where it's like I am 12, you know, and it's like $20. But there was this kid and it's like all these kids, like all are like this tall and they're all shaking hands at the end of the game. And then there's just this giant kid who is like no kidding, like 2.5 feet taller. Like, and I'm not like exaggerating, 2.5 feet taller than everybody else. And it's like, you know, just finished like the 12U like football game. And it's like,
Oh yeah.
dude, this kid's like probably like he already has the size of like a D1 offensive lineman, you know? Like how like I would be so angry if I was a parent on the other kid's team. It's like, dude, like, how
Well,
are we supposed to
yeah.
play?
Yeah, I think the good thing about wrestling for instances like that is that a lot of these kids now have the outlets to, and they're doing it. It's kind of becoming a thing. It's like, well, they're not getting held back a couple years and just blowing every high school kid out of the water. They're now wrestling at college opens. They're now going to the US Open, wrestling at the World Team Trial. So they're like not just beating up on kids they're better than. Like that would suck.
Yeah.
It's like they still do that, but now they're also going further and challenging themselves at a more adequate level, which is good to see because if you get held back a couple years and you're training at an RTC with college guys, you're just beating up all the kids in your town. It's like, what's the point after a while?
Yeah, I think saw Bo Bassett like win it might have been like the fourth Super 32 title. And like, I mean, I was like, dude, he's just gonna wreck everybody. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't think and it's the Super 32. It's like the toughest high school folk style tournament, but
yeah,
he wrecked everybody.
yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, well, who's really gonna challenge him? And like, it's great. He probably had that goal to win it 4 times because that's a really hard tournament to win. But this last one, it's kind of like, okay, dude.
I had a
You,
parent. Go ahead.
no, no, I was just trying to think what he last won. Didn't he just win or did he not win like the Bill Farrell or something too?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
He's been he
it's
wrestled like
like,
three tournaments, like 3 weekends in a row, like three big tournaments. Like won the Bill
yeah,
Farrell. It's like you're winning against senior level guys, not just in the United States but internationally, and then you're gonna go wrestle some high school some high school
yeah,
kid.
yeah. It's like, okay, I kind of know
Uh,
what's gonna happen.
this was like that one of our parents. So we have a couple different kids that like play football, or like we have a kid that runs cross country. But this kid's he's a sophomore, and his parents are really good people, and he's a really good kid. But his mom was like, hey, we want to give him some matches. His cross country season just ended. Do you mind if he goes to the Cotton Classic next weekend? I'm like, well, I'll talk to Carlo about that, but he's a returning state qualifier. I don't think the other local coaches would be happy if he's wrestling in a JV tournament. Like, they're like, yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Like, that's fair, but it's like it's just why he's just gonna just
Yeah,
wreck everybody. Like, I get
yeah,
it, I understand where you're coming from. We want to get him that experience, but
yeah. It's a couple things. It's like one, how much like yeah, it probably is good for him, but at the same time, it's like there is sportsmanship there. Like you don't just want him wrecking first year
yeah,
wrestlers.
yeah. I mean, we'll do this too. Like, if like we're gonna have one kid, he has to sit out until December 23rd, but it's like we're not going to have a 6 pounder. So it's like, all right, we have a freshman. This is his first year wrestling. He's our backup. We might just kind of see what the other team's going to throw out there. If they're like, it's something competitive, great. If it's something where like, no, like we know who this kid is. He wrestled last year. It's like, eh, we'll forfeit. Like it's okay. Like we'll give him a
Yeah,
match on JV if we can, but there's no point in setting him out. So just we hope he doesn't get pinned. It's like we're not too worried about that.
yeah, that's true.
Did you hear about Jack's Forest?
I read about it on social media, so I don't know how reliable it is, but um, would be interesting if he comes in and wrestles second semester. I guess he could. There's a chance he can come in, enroll, and just like redshirt, I guess, and not wrestle. But who knows? I don't know. What do you think about it?
I mean, I know there's precedence for it. I don't think competing, but on a football level, you can graduate your first semester of high school, come out second semester, but football season's already done, and then you can do like the spring training and like start enrolling into classes and things like that. So like I've seen that happen, but I haven't seen where it's like, all right, we're gonna get Jack's Forest this year, this spring. We're gonna, second semester, and in January he's gonna come out and he's gonna wrestle, in duels and compete in the postseason. I mean, that's what Willie Saylor. I feel like just kind of out of left field, but I've seen enough stuff on social media that's kind of counter to that. But that'd be kind of a crazy thing, and I feel bad for Ronnie Ramirez. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to go 33s. I don't think he would go 41s, but he could.
Yeah, I don't know. what how much more of a benefit it would to bring him in and wrestle him for the team. Like obviously he's a stud and might end up being the best guy on their team right now,
Yeah.
if he were to go. But it seems almost forced when you have time to wait to next year, I guess. And yeah, and it might spread out your guys you already have a little bit more instead of pushing them together right overlap. So he would overlap exactly with Ronnie as far as the 5 year eligibility instead of spreading out 1 year. So I don't know.
It's
Um,
better for the team to wait. And I honestly, I think he's got a big frame. I don't think he's going to stay at a lower weight. I feel like they could fill him out and maybe he can go 49 or 57, possibly.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you have two really good true freshmen in your lineup. You got Ronnie and you got Sergio. And that's more than likely he's going to wrestle one of those two weights. So I don't know if it makes sense at this point. Maybe it was something they were thinking about before this weekend and they saw their guys doing really good. And now it's like, okay, well, maybe it's not something that we need to think about any further. But um, yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
That's kind of good problem to have, I guess, at the end of the day for him.
Yeah, there's another guy that I wanted to talk about, and I feel like I have to kind of eat my words, but I'll say it. I'll say it on the podcast. I didn't think Masoma Ndende was gonna be that good.
Oh,
Um, I watched him wrestle at I think Iowa's first two was like Bellarmine or something like that. But I was like, like I don't know if he has like that many like point scoring potential. But also you factor in his 197s, and it's like sometimes you have guys that can score a lot and sometimes you don't. Um, but man, really feels like he is getting like better like every week. Like just getting some time to wrestle guys outside the room and like adjusting to hit the level. I mean, he had a big moment in Carver beating Max out from Pitt, who's ranked four. Um, and I think there's always like did Max out get covered? But I think just Ndende just looked good. Like he just wrestled with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. Obviously he's really strong, which goes a long way at those upper weights. But I'm super impressed. Like I thought he competed really well, and I think he's a contender now at 97. Shoot, no, he argue not, but.
yeah, that's a good one to bring up. He's definitely on people's radar now. I honestly never really watched him before. So,
He was
I mean,
U23. He won U23s, right?
did he? Okay. I didn't watch any of his matches from that, so not like I could kind of gauge any of like, oh, what does he have for at least wrestling skills and skill set. But I mean, you look at the guy, you can tell he's freaking strong and athletic. So um, he's gonna have that at that weight class that can go a long way. Um, like you said, as I've watched him now, last couple weeks. He's getting confident and finding ways to score. If he continues to do that, he's going to be, right there with anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is that like, oh, he came in from a lower division. It's a question mark, if not doubt from some people if he can compete. But I don't know. I mean, you got freaking juniors in high school competing with some of the best guys in the world. Why can't this guy, I guess, at the end of the day? So um I just yeah, I mean he's had some good matches and he's kind of gotten after it and finding ways to score late to win matches, which is a big deal. If you can get a takedown when you're down at the end of a match, you're going to win a lot of college wrestling matches because you're going to be in that position a lot.
Yeah. Especially that way too, where it's normally not a high scoring weight class. Or at least it hasn't been consistently. I wonder how he's going to do against some of the other guys in the field. I think stylistically might cause problems, like Joey Novak, kind of funky, wrestle a little bit unorthodox. Josh Barr, a little more dynamic. Um, but like some of these other guys, like Stephen Little, Rocky Elam, guys that just like to hold position and bang. I feel like if you're Masoma and
Yeah.
Dende, like that's what you're built for. Like you're strong, athletic. You can get a takedown, like how you said. I think he's going to be in a lot of those matches. I just wondered, against some of those guys that wrestle a little bit differently at that weight. That's kind of what makes them special at that weight. But it's fun, man.
Yeah, yeah, he was a good one. It's a good story. I mean, you love to see a guy come in and compete from a lower division. Um, like I said, people there's probably a question mark at best, if not, there's probably a lot of people who doubted he could. So it's good to see him kind of proving some people wrong. And like I say, he's wrestling with like some energy, some excitement, and you kind of watch a guy like that, and like I could root for that guy. I want to see him do well.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an underdog, and that's like what that's what Americans like. We like the underdog story. We always like to
For
see
sure.
the dynasty crumble, the winners lose.
Until he's not, and then he's gonna be like
Yeah, yeah,
ranked
yeah.
really high at the NCAA tournament.
But
People,
he only has 1 year of eligibility left.
that's true.
So he only
That's
gets to be
true.
this underdog.
It's true. Except he's at Iowa too, so he's gonna get cheered against if he goes in ranked high.
It's interesting. When I was younger, I've always been like a deeply closeted Iowa fan. Um, but now it's like, I don't know, man. I feel like they just kind of underperform, and it's kind of frustrating to see because I think it's such a program rich history, or history rich program. I wish Miguel Estrada was healthy and was able to compete and wrestle, but that's kind of where my bias is right now. It's just because, yeah, I mean, I know one of the guys on the team, but um, I don't know. I think there's always like this question. I think the last couple of years that's been happening is what is the line where the Iowa administration and the fan base is like enough is enough, and they have to like clean house.
Yeah, that's tough. Um, they probably have the resources to get almost anyone they want as a coach. But
Kale Sanderson,
I mean that if you could, that's the guy,
yeah,
you know. But let's say you're probably not gonna be able to do that. Who is the guy that's gonna come in and do significantly better? Or are you gonna replace him to do about the same?
you're probably gonna replace him to do. I don't know. Maybe have a fresh perspective. I think this is honestly where I saw Oklahoma State a couple years ago, where if you just have this, again, like I think it's interesting, but there's holes in my logic here. But if you just have like the same people kind of rotating in, you don't have a fresh perspective. Where it's just like, okay, John Smith is the GOAT. He's been the GOAT for a long time. But all the guys that come in terms of assistant coaches, are all guys that he's coached. And it just becomes like this little bubble. But I thought Coleman Scott, I thought was actually going to be great for the program because he has the history, he has the knowledge of the Oklahoma State style and traditions, but went and did his own thing and got outside that bubble and was bringing in a fresh perspective. And I thought that was really important. I feel like Iowa, to a large extent, is kind of in that same little bubble where it's like you just have the same kind of philosophy and mindset and ideas, and there's not a whole lot of fresh perspective and ideas. I feel like Penn State's a little bit different because I think their style is always trying to like not look inward, and this is what we do, but always trying to like, how do we grow and how do we expand where it's not just this kind of vicious little
Yeah.
bubble that repeats itself. So I don't know if you want to add to that, but that's just something I
No.
feel like that's kind of where Iowa's at right now, and I think at some point that bubble's got to burst. But it's like you said, it's like who's gonna replace replace them? It's like the Brands are still the best option, in my opinion, right now for Iowa. Otherwise, something would
Yeah.
have already happened.
Well, you just put you in the position. You're the athletic director. You have the resources from donors. You can go get, you have a checkbook to get whoever you want. And let's just be realistic. Getting like Kale probably isn't going to
No,
happen. Even getting maybe David Taylor probably is not going to happen.
no.
Um, but almost anyone else is on the table.
Um, I would
Who-
get you want to get a big name. You want to get a big name, somebody that's competing now or recently. And then you want to get somebody that I think you want a big name, but somebody that can wrestle right now, like that can wrestle with the guys. And then I would get somebody that's a really good developer. So I would go. I mean, if it's me, I might go. If I have a bunch of money, I might go like a Kyle Dake or like a Jordan Burroughs. I mean, those are like the top two in my opinion right now. But in terms of developers, I would get like Lee Roper. I would get like Casey Cunningham would probably not go, but Casey would be, I think, at the top of the list. Um, I think somebody that you could try to get, but probably this is probably the most tempting guy to get. I think would be like Doug Schwab. I think would do a good job there. But I think he is very much like this is us. Like he likes being a part of UNI, and like I think he has a lot of family history with that program. I'm not sure if he would necessarily leave. Um, I think, yeah. I mean, I don't know who comes to mind for you
Well,
if you're in that position.
yeah, you named them. I mean, those are kind of like well, I'd say there's a number of guys. I would look at it two ways. Um, Someone who's already got the coaching experience, been coaching in college already. So like a Doug Schwab, or I think guys at other schools that do a good job developing and building or built their programs are like Papalizio,
Yeah,
Roby
I
at
don't think he
Virginia
would leave
Tech.
NC State.
No, no, sure, but
Oh, you're
you
saying
know,
just period, just like if you could pick.
yep, if you could get
Got it.
them, yeah, and you have the resources to maybe get someone out of somewhere like that. Um, but the other one would be someone who probably doesn't have the coaching, and then you are looking like at a Burrows or Dake. They're just been great competitors. They're still involved in the sport, still maybe training, competing, maybe coaching in some way, but not haven't been made a career out of coaching yet. And those guys would come to mind. Yanni, someone like that for sure.
Yeah, make him the face.
That's
Make
how
him the
I kind of
face.
see it. Like, do I take a guy with coaching experience and done a good job developing programs and talent, or someone who'd be a little more of a wild card, just was a great athlete, great competitor, great wrestler, but hasn't been coaching? And that's what Oklahoma State did, right? And it seems to be working out for him pretty well so far. So
Well, Taylor, I mean, Taylor is there, but Taylor's like the face. Taylor is like I think the voice in a lot of ways, but like you got Jimmy Kennedy, you got who just came there from Army. Oh, I'm blanking. Dude, I hate it when I do that. But you got Jimmy Kennedy, you got man, he recruited me a little bit out of high school too when he's at Washita. You know what I'm talking about? Kevin Ward.
yeah,
Yeah, Kevin Ward. You have Pearsall, who again is like great recruiter. Um, and then you have part of the Okie State tradition that's still there. Um, Man, why am I always blanking on the names? Who's the other assistant? The second assistant.
Caldwell,
Yeah,
Caldwell there,
yeah.
Roper, um, yeah,
That's a pretty good coaching staff. And they're not like I think there's a lot of experience there, but they're pulling all of their experience from different like places, and they're all kind of coming together. Like Pearsall's done a great job as an assistant at Penn, and like they had some really good recruits and did a good job developing. I think at Penn, like a lot of guys that are tough that maybe aren't super great, and being at Penn, you have a limited pool. Same thing with Army to some extent. You have to fit the academic situation, but like Ward's developed some good guys at Army. Um, so they all kind of blend like head coaching and like administrative and recruiting and developing. And like you throw in like Lee Roper, who's like, I think a really good developer coach. Um, and then I think a lot of those guys are still sparring and wrestling with the guys on the team, and you mix that in with their RTC. I think that's kind of like still a very important element to this is you got to have those guys that are past college that can still kind of rub elbows with the college guys. Um, like having Zahid wrestling with Zach Ryder and Dayton Fix wrestling with Ronnie Ramirez and Vega. Like that's very important, and I think it's pretty cool.
yeah. Yeah.
What's exactly the rules on that? It's like you have to have an official RTC practice, and then all the college guys just go to the RTC practice, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, yeah, you just I imagine you just write it on a calendar. This is our RTC
RTC
practice.
practice.
I am 12.
I
That's
mean,
all it is.
yeah, I mean, we have club practices. It's a
Yeah,
club practice.
it's all it is, right? You just gotta make sure that's obvious, or it's make sure it's stated somewhere that's what it is.
Yeah, very
Uh,
clear insurance. You got to make sure you have the insurance part.
yeah, yeah. I think
USA Wrestling events, place.
yeah, everyone there has their USA Wrestling membership, and then it's yeah, legit art. I mean, there's a little bit to do, but really not a lot.
You get somebody an apartment that is within 250 miles,
I
even
think
though they're
they're
from the
even
other
doing
side of the
away with
country.
that. Yeah, I think they're doing away with it, but maybe not.
They do need to get, dude, like, I mean, I don't know how they would do that. But I mean, I think like that was kind of what I heard was up with Bo Bassett is like, get us an apartment so that like we can come and train there. And Rams is like, I don't want to do that. You guys are in high school, like just be in high school. But that's what Jax Forrest is getting. It's like
Oh,
they did like Flo did like a Cribs thing where they went and checked out his apartment, and it's like, and he even sat on there. He's like, yeah, I only live here like a few months out of the year, but like, what are we
it's
doing?
incredible. Yeah. Yeah, when you have the resources, I mean, you can do whatever.
I mean, you have like
It,
almost like unlimited cash, basically.
yeah. Yeah, you have that money, you have the resources. It's easy to work within the rules, you know?
Something that I've been thinking about quite a bit, and this is more for like the high school level. It's really tough to do like what you've been able to do on the national duels and make it into something with wrestling. This year, so different sections in California have experimented with like a sectional duels, and you can like opt in it. But this is the first year the central section is going to have it, but they're going to have it like after our league tournament. So it's like the first weekend of February, and then the next weekend we have our first like playoff, like we have our first like our valley tournament. Um, I don't think like I like the idea of it because I think it's great, but I don't like how they do it right before our postseason. Because
So
why would we add another weigh in? Why would
so
we
it,
go and do
let
it?
me let me back up here. So it would just be dual championship for each section. It wouldn't be
Yeah,
like culminating to the state. It would just okay.
there's just a little sectional thing. I do think a state duels would be really cool, and it's been done before. But it's always trying to find the right timing. In college, it's like, okay, you're there just wrestling. But if you look at what's happening in high school, it's like, well, you're going to have a lot of some of your middle weights and probably a good number of your upper weights probably playing football. So you can't do it in November because they're finishing their football season. So it's like,
Um
how would you put together a like a state duels or even like a sectional
yeah.
duels?
Well, Southern section, I don't know. I assume they still do it. They might not do it, but they always had CIF duels.
Yeah, they
Um
have they have duels, but their thing is the same timeline as ours. So like we're just doing it. This is our first year doing it in the central section, but like southern section did it last year.
what do you mean? Did
Like
what?
they had like a sectional duels.
Oh, they did it for the whole Southern section. So
Yeah.
before it used to be, the Southern section has little CIF subsections or whatever to qualify to Masters.
Hmm.
So they used to do duels for each of those forever. That's been going on
Yeah.
for the longest time.
Yeah. So
So,
they still have that. Like they have like the D1 southern section. They have
yep,
something D2, D3,
yep.
D4,
I think it was
D5.
five. And then so it was after the league championship. So you'd have your league championships, which qualifies you to CIF, whatever. It's like the beginning of the
It's not a
postseason.
qualifier anymore.
Okay, which is
Yeah.
probably makes sense. It was like 5, 6 teams. It was kind of a waste of a weekend. Um, but after that, so you'd start the individual postseason, and then you'd have like the dual
Hmm.
championship, and then after that, then you'd have like the individual, and then you kind of make your way all through the postseason. But it was kind of a weird format, but it kind of was what it was. Some teams that were pretty good would basically like they would qualify and then they would just wrestle all their JV guys because they didn't want to get their best guys hurt
Yeah.
in the postseason. They kind of just concede the event. So you'd always get a little bit of that, a little controversy, but I guess back to your point of like when's a good time to do it? How's a good way to do it? How do you include people? It's just California's so big. It's kind of hard to figure that out.
I mean, it would be cool if we did like like marquee events like hey, we're gonna, Buchanan and Poway, you guys already do it. Let's get like a Clovis North and like a Birmingham, or like let's get a St. John Bosco and a Clovis High, and you guys are gonna be like our state marquee events for this season, and we're gonna make sure it's streamed. We're gonna sponsor the event with something and like market it. Maybe do it in a cool spot, like a cool location, like do it at maybe go down to the event center that's in Riverside at CBU. Like that would be a cool place to do one, or like I don't know, like something that would be cool, like for the high school experience. That would just draw a little bit more eyes. But then what I think is going to happen is like, well, what about like the D2 or the D3 teams that like they just don't get anything, or maybe do it at maybe
Yeah.
expand that, just maybe not as big of a stage. But again, when do you do it? Like you can't do it at
Yeah.
the end of football.
Yeah.
And then by Christmas break, it's like you just need to get those guys as live matches as possible. Is it worth doing a duel?
Yeah, that's the tough. It's like timing's hard for that. And then everyone's gonna have a different idea of what they would think it's better. Some coaches might prefer it closer to the postseason, some might prefer it closer to the beginning of season, and then you just start getting a riff, and that's what makes it hard to do these big
Yeah.
events with everyone on board.
Yeah, it's hard to get everybody kind of thinking and going the same direction. Um, your brother's coaching today, right? There's isn't
Yeah, they're wrestling Fresno City here probably in a couple hours for the dual state championship junior college. So um, I don't know. I talked to him earlier this week. He's like not sure how they'll match up, but he said it should be competitive. He thinks they have a chance to knock them off, but um, he wasn't. I don't know. He was a little like playing coy. He
Alsack's
wasn't.
favored though, isn't it? Aren't they favored in like seven of the matches or something?
I don't know. He didn't make it seem that way.
Oh, maybe I haven't flipped. Maybe Fresno City's favored,
Um,
but
I think they wrestled in at least one tournament together, and Fresno City won, and his team was second. He had a few of his guys out, so he thought they probably could have been a little bit closer to him, but he really doesn't know. He really it's like it's up in the air. Either team can get it, but um, he's like, we'll see. I know sometimes he does that, and they'll probably do better than what he tells me. He just kind of downplays it, but
well, that's I think important as a coach to I think sometimes do is like really kind of lower your expectations, you know?
yeah.
Otherwise you go crazy.
Yeah, true, true. Or yeah, or maybe, that's probably coming what he's relays to his guys. It's just like, reminding them it's gonna be a dogfight and not like it's gonna be an easy win, right? These guys, you got to go ready to take the win. No one's gonna give you anything, so probably some of that too.
Is that something that you feel like when you were coaching, like you had to be very cognizant of was like not only managing like your expectations, but the expectations of the guys on the team too?
Yeah, yeah, I think you always want to prepare guys to be ready for a hard fight, a battle. Um, expect it to be a difficult match, expect it to be a lot of work, more work than you're probably even thinking. Um, and if it's not, then it's not right. But obviously it's worse if you kind of go in thinking it's gonna be an easy match, easy duel, and then it's hard to flip that in the middle of a match when you're like caught on your heels. It can snowball on you. So and really, it's like you should go into every competition just expecting to compete as hard as you can, regardless of result or who you're wrestling, right? If you lose, you still should have competed as hard as if you would have won by 15 points and got attacked. So,
Yeah, I think that's a good perspective to have. I think it's hard. I think for young people to kind of get that in their heads. It's like stop looking over there. Like
yeah.
stop looking over there. Just focus on like what you need to do. And it's like oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But then I see them on their phones and they're looking at the damn brackets or looking at the rankings and
Oh,
oh well, I'm probably gonna
that's
have a tough third match. It's like you have to get to that one.
for sure. Even I imagine like more so for high schoolers than maybe college guys, but like high schoolers like knowing they have an easy match.
Yeah.
It's like the stress of it, of having a tough match. It's hard, right? Especially when you're young. But I mean, high schoolers know they have some kid that they're gonna pin pretty quick. Yeah, they like knowing that. So they're probably focused too much on the results and not just like doesn't matter. I should compete hard either way, whether I can pin the kid in the first minute or might be a dogfight overtime match. But no, I've realized that high school kids just like to know if it's going to be an easy match.
Well, I felt like this yesterday. There were two of our kids that won the tournament. Like there was like a tale of like two wrestlers. Like their first couple of matches, they looked like crap. Like their intensity wasn't there. Um, Super sloppy on like some of the things that we spend a lot of time doing. And then it's like, oh, we have somebody tough in the semis. And then they start wrestling different. And it's like, dude, like your pattern of competition is going to screw you over at some point.
Yeah.
Like you're going to overlook somebody, or you're just not getting like if you're wrestling differently depending on who you wrestle, you're not getting the reps in terms of intensity and quality that you need in order to get to where you want to be at the end of the year. Um, so I hope like I mean there was like one like coaching moment I had with one kid who is the reason I'm balding is this kid, but um, he's a senior, and it's like you know how it is. It's like you care about the kid a lot, but like sometimes he thinks he knows a little bit more than what he does, and I'm like, dude, if you just whenever it's weird, and I when we were done with the van, I want to tell him this. It's weird. It's like whenever I ask you to do something and you do it, it always seems to work out. It's whenever you think you know more, that's when something happens, and then we have to have this conversation. But he changed the way that he wrestled a little bit, and he picked up his intensity, and like all of a sudden, like the guy starts falling over in the hand fight. I'm like, see, like you pick up your intensity a little bit. These guys aren't going to want to wrestle with you, and then more opportunities happen, and then you score more points. He goes, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, I know, dude. I've been telling you for months, but I think it's like I always try like when we have those moments, I always try to talk to them in a way where it's like either they think it was their idea or it's like I always try to like be very over the top positive, but like in the back of my mind, I'm like, you fool! Like I've been telling you so
Oh yeah.
long, and like how come you aren't listening? Like, is that something that you feel like? I mean, do you think of like moments where you've had to maybe do some of that stuff with guys just to try to get them where they want to be?
Yeah, I mean, you always try to point out like what works, what doesn't, right? And like what you've been telling them. I don't know, every guy's different. Like guys are gonna respond. Some guys you can just like be pretty like blunt and straightforward and be like you keep losing because you're doing this. And if you don't fix it, you're just gonna keep losing. Like it's on you. And
Yeah.
they kind of sets in. Other guys, you probably gotta massage it in there a little bit more or whatever. But no, you got to find ways to kind of make it sink in, especially if it's obvious to you the coach, like, dude, you're not doing this enough or you're doing this wrong. And trust me, if you start doing what I'm telling you, it's gonna pay off. And yeah, sometimes you gotta do some inception and make it think it's their idea, even though it's been yours for like 2 years.
Yeah, it's funny. There's always like moments where I just think like, all right, like I wish I would have listened to Manny a little bit more. Working on my defense and like you know just trying to find like good scores and not letting my weight balloon up and all those other things. But um, yeah, I think the biggest thing is when we were talking about I think last time where it's like I disagree to disagree. It's like, man, just stop arguing. I wish I could go back and be like, just stop arguing and just freaking do it. Like, just listen. But
Yep.
that's what you get. It's like the shoes on the other foot now.
Yeah, and that's a part of it. Just you're gonna coach a lot of different personalities and different types of kids, and everyone's gonna be a little different. Some kids might listen too much even, and not be able to make decisions on their own when because you want kids to make decisions on their own, but they won't without being told what to do. They need like absolute 100% direction from you, and they're like, well, dude, I shouldn't have to tell you everything either. You should be able to like, make some decisions and figure some things out while you're wrestling or in practice. And, you know, that independence is really good for kids too. So there's a balance to it all.
Yeah, there's a kid on our team where he's so nice, but like he's like, what do I need to work on for my next match? And I'm like, I already know what he's really asking. He's like, tell me what to do. And
Yeah.
it's like, dude, I'm not gonna tell you too much right now. Just be a little more aggressive. Like that's it. Like I'm
Yep.
not gonna,
Yeah.
because if I just tell you that, that's all you're gonna do. You're not gonna do everything else you need to do.
Correct. So no, there's a balance to it for sure.
Good man. What's the rest of your day gonna look like?
Probably throw on some football, watch some wrestling. What's going on right now? Roadrunner open today.
Yeah, Roadrunner.
Army's got their open. I'll
Yeah,
probably
watch
start
Manny.
looking into that here in a little bit. They probably got to be a little deep. Army, that's out east. They got to be a little bit deep into the tournament, so probably getting some semifinal matches coming up. Roadrunner's probably just kicking off. What time is it over there?
It's 10:30.
Yeah, so they're probably just getting going. But
Yeah.
yeah, nothing too crazy. Slow week coming up with the holiday for work, so now it kind of feels like holidays have started already. Just kind of hanging out in my sweats, watching
Same.
sports.
Same. I love it, man.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah, I get to be a little bit more outspoken about the Chicago Bears now that they're winning. Um, Barely,
Y-
but like we'll take it.
Hey, you got to start somewhere, and this is a good turnaround from last year. So
Yeah, he's Ben Johnson is like one of my favorite coaches to study. He's very I think upfront, and honest, and like holds his team to a high standard, but also like very quick to defend his team too against from like the media and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see, just because I feel like the coaches the teams had have been kind of like, well, it's this guy's fault, or like just come up with a bunch of excuses.
yeah, I think you can definitely see his influence and leadership on the team. I don't know the Chicago Bears that well, but it doesn't seem like they really changed too many of the players, had big players come in or leave from last year. It kind of seems
Yeah.
like most of the same team, and now they're way more competitive and in winning some of those really close games, which I mean, in a competitive league, you
All right,
got to win the.
Vikings. Are you a Vikings fan?
No,
You're a
no.
Raiders
I mean,
fan?
no, no,
You a Chargers fan?
no. I mean, if I had to pick, it'd be Rams, but I don't
Love the
even
Rams.
like saying I'm a Rams fan, but it just kind of is what it is. You lose your NFL team for whatever, however long LA didn't have a team. You kind of just like whatever, feels like to me. But it would be the Rams probably.
You're a Dodgers fan though.
Yep, yep, for
Yeah,
sure. That which was a great, I don't know how much baseball you watched, but
a little
man,
bit.
that was a great postseason for, I mean, it's easy for me to say because Dodgers ended up winning the World Series, but um
The
like
Blue
even
Jays
other
were pretty good though. Like
dude,
there were points of
just
that
the
game I'm like, this is it.
playoff baseball this year was incredible. And I'll be the first one to admit I like baseball, but it can be boring. I'll be the first one to admit
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
playoff baseball was not boring. There was a lot of great games, a lot of great series. I mean, even the Blue Jays barely squeaked by the Mariners the series before. They looked like they were about to get put out, and they kind of, came back there that game seven against the Mariners to squeak into the World Series. Um, you know, Dodgers had a great series against the Phillies. They squeaked out a couple games. That was only a 5 game series, but there's a couple really close games. They kind of snuck away from the Phillies. And then who else? There's a couple other series that were really good. I think the Cubs battled with the Brewers. So no, it was good baseball. It's
My
fun.
my wife's family's Dodgers and Raiders. So
Okay.
we were watching the Dodgers together. I feel like I had to be a Dodgers fan. And I mean, I've been to the most Dodgers games compared to other places that I've gone to. So I feel like I kind of have to be, which is
Yeah,
fine. It's good to be a part of a winning team.
well, yeah, yeah, and it's I don't know, I try to be realistic. Like they call it luck, call it whatever, but they just capitalized in moments. They squeaked by. Um, I'd be the first one that I think the Blue Jays probably outplayed them, and they still won. Um, but the same could be said like many other games in series. So. I don't know. That's probably a part of just experience. Team was most of the team was back from last year. They've been there. They've been in those big moments, and just kind of pulled it off.
Yeah, yeah. The pitching, and I think in a lot of moments looked pretty rough, except for is it Miyamoto or Miyamoto? What's his name?
Yeah, Yamamoto.
Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Um, dude, he's a dog. Like that was I mean, just from a sports fan perspective, like his just ability just to just compete hard. The fact that he was out there for so many pitches pretty
And I
consistently because I think he pitched the whole game for one, and then they had when they went into a bunch of overtimes, he had to go back in. And then I
yeah,
think he had like one game break and then they put him back in at the end.
that guy's like a difference maker. That's a guy that like kind of gets the team believing and wanting to compete harder when you do things that no one else does and you're willing to do them without being told. Like he was willing to go pitch um relief after throwing like a complete game, which is you don't see very often. It's been done before, but you don't see it often. But when you got a guy who's willing to do that for the team and then goes out and does it well, it's just like, all right, well, the rest of us got to pick it up here. It just sends a
Except for
pretty.
Kiki. Except for Kiki Hernandez. Dude, when it's is it Podges that went and ran
Yep,
like ran it's like Kiki's
just took
not
him
catching
out.
this dude, he's
Yep.
not catching this. It just like Kiki just stayed on the ground, which I think after he's like, yeah, I thought we dropped it and we lost, and I was like, I was like, you just got embarrassed. Like, I mean,
He
Dodgers
had
made the play, but poor
he's
Kiki.
hilarious. He had a great tweet after where it was like, "I'm glad the better team didn't win after they beat the Blue Jays."
He said something too. He's like, yeah, I'm the guy that it's like, hey, if you bring a pencil, you're gonna get an A. He's like, I brought my pencil. I didn't do anything else to contribute,
Yep.
but I brought my
It's
pencil.
part of like the group project or something like that. I'm the guy that just brings his pencil and gets an A with the group. Yeah, I mean, you know what? He didn't do a ton in the World Series, but he played great all the other series, all the other playoffs. So it is what it is.
When you're a part of a team, though, you gotta find other ways to contribute. It's like maybe you're just the funny guy in the locker room, that
Positive,
series.
yeah, positive energy. Maybe you're not the guy, putting up all the stats, but you keep everyone's head in there, in the right frame of mind and loose, positive. He seems to be that guy, and yeah, it was great playoff baseball.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I'm gonna go watch the Bears game right now, but it's always good catching up with you. Um, yeah, at some point we gotta do this. Let's not. When was the last time we did this? I think it was like 2 or 3 months, right?
Yeah, but summer slows down for wrestling. Yeah, for sure. Season's getting going. Let's keep hammering these out. These are fun.
Yeah, I think yeah, the other guys that are say they're part of the crew are very inconsistent. So I think I'm just gonna fire all of them and we'll just make a new group chat.
Sounds good.
All right,
All
Manny.
right, have a good
All right,
one.
man. See ya.
See ya.